All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation. And that is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus a so-called black man, who, by the way, only came for the Israelites, all right? And we're going to talk about this devil's deception and his complex to be like the Most High, all right? Because I was watching this movie that came out about a year ago titled Afraid, and one of the characters in it mentioned the cloud and how it's going to store all data. Now, if you know you got an iPhone, you know that your data or your memory is stored in the cloud, okay? And that's all this devil wants to do, is be like the Most High so he can control every aspect of your life, okay? So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 14. It reads, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. See, what is in the clouds are the heavens. We know that in the fourth dimension is where the Father, Yahweh, dwells, okay? Let's go there. This is the book of Isaiah. What is that? 60. Let me see. This is 66. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 66, and verse 1. It reads, Thus saith Yahweh, the heaven is my throne. See? So this is where Esau, Edom, wants to take his next phase of his godlike complex to be like the Most High. He wants to take it in a digital sense to control the cloud or the memory of every living thing here on earth, okay? He wants all subjects under his authority, all right? So this is Isaiah 66 in verse 1. Slakia, it says, Thus saith Yahweh, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. See? So this devil, he wants to ascend into the clouds, okay? He wants to be like the Most High. And with this technology that he's what's the word I'm looking for? That he's perfected, he thinks he's going to get to that point, okay? But see, according to scriptures, he's only going to get so far. When he's getting ready to fill his belly, he's going to spewed it all up. All right, that's in the book of Job. Okay, so this devil is only going to get so far in his agenda of thinking to himself that he's going to be like the Most High. But that doesn't mean that he isn't going to stop. Okay, and he's going to get 2/3 of our people here in America and elsewhere to what? Have control over him. That's where it goes into 2 Thessalonians 2. All right. He sits in the temple. Matter of fact, let's get that. Okay. This is the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2, in verse 4. It says, Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worship, so that he, speaking of the son of perdition, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, so that he, as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. All right, what is the temple? All right, you Israelites, see? So this man has a godlike complex where he wants to be what? Your ruler, your supreme being, okay? By what? By the way of the RFID microchip, all right? And speaking of the United States of America, 2/3 of our people, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, are going to acquiesce to this because it's why? It's biblical prophecy, okay? Zechariah 13 and 8. So he will sit and be in the clouds, having all knowledge of your goings and outings, and pretty much being as your God. Okay, because why? You took in his device. That's why it says in 2 Corinthians chapter 2 in verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us. Why? For we are not ignorant of his devices. See, we've been measuring the times diligently. All right, we've been doing what was required and asked of us. So now we know this devil's gameplay. All right, his playbook. All right, he wants to give you the option, or should I say, he wants to give you the illusion of having autonomy by using his grid, his system, to continue to what? To function. All right, whether that's you getting food, whether that's you, if they allow jobs to be still up and about working, whether that's you being able to go to concerts or venues, it will all be tracked and monitored via by the way of the cloud. All right, we're going to look up that word and see what it is that the cloud does. Okay, because the RFID microchip will be connected or ran in sync with the cloud. All right, it's going to hold all memories. Okay, so it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us. Why? For we are not ignorant of his devices. See, so we understand where this devil wants to take this. All right, the end game is what? He wants to sit in the temple, being the Most High, in the clouds, trying to think that he is the Most High. So now let's go back to Isaiah 14 and read that again. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, and verse 14. It reads, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. Okay? And we know, pursuant to Obadiah 1, that he put his satellites into the upper atmosphere, into the heavens, so that he can have this technology. Okay? This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, and verse, let's see. Let's start at verse 3. Obadiah 1 and 3, it says, the pride of thy heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And this is this devil's pride. Okay, he don't think that anyone can take him down. He think he's going to actually see his vision fulfilled. It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, we know that the national emblem or symbol of the United States of America is the bald eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars. See? So this devil, you know, he went into space back in the late 60s, if I'm not mistaken, and he put his satellites up there in space, and it says, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh. See? So Yahweh is allowing this devil to go but so far. All right? Because why? Yahweh is going to use this devil to what? Get glory. All right? Here it is. He used this basis of man to ascend to a certain level, only to what? Bring him back down to the ground. Okay? So this devil will get off the ground to the extent that he will make this RFID microchip mandatory. All right? Because why? It's part of prophecy. All right? Revelation 13 and 16. And he causes all. So this devil will ascend to a certain level, but he will not fulfill his belly. Okay? He's not going to get everything that he wants to get done, because we know, pursuant to Matthew 24, it says that no flesh should be saved if those days weren't shortened, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So this devil isn't going to get to see his whole enterprise be fulfilled. All right? Only the part that Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai wants him to fulfill, so that he can what? Get glory through taking it down. Okay? So back to Isaiah 14 in verse 14, it reads, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. All right? He wants to know all, because we know the Most High, he knows all. Okay? He wants to have autonomy over you. All right? He wants to be like the Most High. All right? He wants you as his what? His servants, okay? So this is the mindset and the pride of this damn devil. All right, let's read that again, and then we'll get what it is to be what the cloud is. Isaiah 14:14, it reads, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. See? So in his mind, he's thinking he's going to be greater than the Most High. It says, I will be like the Most High. All right? This is this devil's pride, man. This is this devil's ego. All right? He thinks through this technology that he's going to supersede the Most High, man. All right? This is the type of pride and ego that this devil have, but the Most High has allowed him to ascend to this point so that he can bring him down, okay? Now let's look up what is the cloud. Give me 1 second. So I typed in what is the cloud, and the AI overview says the cloud in computing refers to a global network of servers that store, manage, and process data, as well as run applications, all accessible over the internet. You see? Well, this devil is going to have the internet on that microchip, all right? It's going to be a BCI, a brain computer interface, all right? And it's going to be hooked up to some type of service, because we know that Trump, he stated that he wanted to put these, I forgot what they were called, but there's one in Texas that he wanted to use these data centers for this, I believe, I can't recall, but I don't know if it's stated inside the big, beautiful bill, but I did a lesson on it. But yeah, there's data centers that he wants to house for these mines that he's going to use for what? Crypto and everything else, okay? All those are going to be connected to servers, man, all right? So it says the cloud in computing refers to a global network of servers that store, manage, and process data. See, and you fools, I'm just gonna call it what it is, think that when you take this microchip, you ain't going to be tracked. All your spending habits are going to be tracked. All your whereabouts are going to be tracked. Everything you do is going to be tracked from the very breath you take, right down to the last breath you take will be tracked, okay? And it's all going to be served, it's all going to be saved on the servers. Your voice, your likeness, everything, all right? It belongs to this devil, man. That's why he says he will be like the Most High. He's going to own you, all right? By you taking his mark, is you giving him autonomy over you to use however he sees fits for you. That's why it says he causes, all right? That's going to be the trade-off that you get from taking his mark. He can do whatever he wants for you to buy and sell. He owns you. You are what they call goyim to him, all right? Cattle. Once he's branded you, that's it. You belong to him. You belong in his server. Well, after you pass, he can use your likeness. We see it in the music industry all the time. By what? Royalties. Okay, he's going to own your royalties, your likeness. You will not own anything in this up and coming new system. Okay, everything that you thought that you was building in this society is going to be done away with. No more generational wealth. No more owning your royalties. No more getting the NIL deal or whatever you thought you was going to get to create generational wealth to come. All that's going to be going and given to him. He owns you. You are part of his server. All right? You're in his cloud. He will be like the Most High, he said. Okay? It says, and process data as well as run applications, all accessible over the internet. Right? So he can do anything he wants. You need a physical. He can run it through the server that's connected to the microchip that's embedded underneath your skin in your right hand or in your forehead. He can give what they call in the mechanic line of work, he can give a diagnostic He can diagnose you. You know, when your check engine light come on, he can see what's the issue. You got a clogged up nose or deviated spectrum or, you know, something wrong. He can see what it is that's wrong with you from the comfort of wherever it is that he's at. His office, his house, wherever, his cave. You see? He can diagnose you. Or yeah, this person, yeah, they got this pestilence. They can't come into the market this time, you see? And you can't go. All right? And they keep your records. It's going to be in the what? The server or the cloud. He will be like the Most High. All right? It says, instead of relying solely on your computer's hard drive, cloud computing allows you to access and use these resources remotely. Think of it as renting computing power and storage from a large remote data center. That's exactly what Trump said he was building in Texas. Rather than owning it yourself. Right, you're not going to own anything, man. Okay? He is going to be your Lord, your God. Once you take his device, that's it. You handed over all rights that you thought you had. Okay? So it goes on to say, here's a more detailed breakdown. It's not a physical entity, right? It's going to be digital. But the chip itself will be physical. Okay? The device itself, the RFID microchip, will be physical, the size of a grain of rice. Resource pooling. Cloud providers offer a pool of shared resources, right? You're going to be able to share memories with your long lost loved ones, including computing power, storage, and networking, right? If someone passed away, you may be able to see their last breaths, okay? Because why? It's stored in the clouds, which users can access and pay for on a usage basis. See? This devil's going to want everything, okay? No more free camera pictures. All right? You think the pictures you got stored now are yours once this new internet or whatever they use to bring it back up online is going to be put into place? No. All those memories and all those recordings that you got are going to be transferred over to this new system. All right? You won't own anything. It says cloud computing under scalability. Cloud computing allows you to easily scale your resources up or down as needed without the need to invest in new hardware, right? You see, here it is. You think you're going to get a new microchip for every time you leave one job and go to another? No, they're just going to upload it. All right, his information is in the cloud. He's going to a new job. We just type in this, dot. Now you scaled in. All right. You gonna move from one town to another town. You gotta do your driver's license, go down to the no, you're not gonna do all that. It's just gonna do in the cloud. We got your address and everything. We make the updates there. You set to go. Okay. Cost effectiveness. By paying only for the resources you use, cloud computing can be more cost effective than maintaining your own infrastructure. See? So this devil is going to set up a near impenetrable system for all his subjects to use. All right. And you can't do anything about it because why? This is the will of the Heavenly Father. All right. This is the will of Yahweh through his only begotten son Yahweh Shai that's doing this. Okay. And we telling you, all right, before it happens so that you'll know to repent. Because once it's up and running, it's going to be too late, okay? Different deployment models. There are different ways to deploy cloud resources, including public clouds, accessible to the public, private clouds, exclusive to a single organization, and hybrid clouds, a combination of both, right? So, you may not have the exclusive rights to those that are more highly esteemed in this society, okay? You may not have the access like those that are what you would call the movers and shakers of this society, all right? like your millionaires. Your cloud, your server may not hold that type of information. It may just hold the basic necessities. All right. Whereas the ones that are the movers and shakers, the millionaires, they may have autonomy to go any and everywhere. All right. See? So this devil, he has that godlike complex. All right. He will what? Be like the Most High. All right. So we telling you, okay? This devil wants to go and ascend above the clouds, man. All right. He wants to be like the Most High. So, we just giving you the heads up, man. A system is being put into place and it's getting ready to be made mandatory and be implemented. All right. Whether you believe it or not, that's besides the point. Our only job is to warn you and to tell you to what? Wipe the blood off our hands. So you can say that you what? You cannot say that you weren't warned. Because we telling you, we making it known for those that listen. All right, this devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath. It may seem like a broken record. All right, because we say the same thing over and over. All right, but that's what we do. We blow the trumpet, man. Okay. In case you fall asleep, that alarm clock goes off. You got a snooze button on that come every 5 minutes or 10 minutes to wake your ass up. All right, we gonna keep being viewed as that snooze that's waking your ass up, telling you until you hit it one too many times and it don't come back on. All right, when the Lord sees fit to say, okay, we gave him enough warnings, let's go ahead and wrap it up. All right. No more warnings are going out. It's just going to be go time. All right. And when you see it, you're going to be like, where did I remember hearing that from? It's too late. Okay. See? So you got to get it while you can. Okay. Don't wait till the days are old to try to find this truth. Remember now, it says Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 1. Remember now thy youth, man, while the days are still young. All right, don't wait till all hell breaks loose to try to find the truth, man. Get it while you still can, while there's daylight outside, all right? Because soon it's going to be dark and no man works at night, all right? We ain't going to be out here prophesying in the dark, man, okay? It's not safe, all right? The dark is parabolic for, danger. We're not going to be out here on the streets when all hell breaks loose telling you to get right with the Lord, man. All right, we'll be putting our own self in danger. All right, we doing it now so you can get right. All right, seek ye now Yahweh while he may be found. Call upon him. All right, so let's go ahead and close out with 1 Peter 5 and 8. This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. It reads, be sober, be vigilant. How are you going to do that? By seeking Yahweh while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. See? This is how you get sober. This is how you sober up real fast, man. Okay? Because this devil, he's been pouring you sliders and shots and getting you real drunk, thinking that nothing's going to happen until it actually happens. See? But we telling you now to sober up. All right? Get this truth while you can. All right? Be sober. Be vigilant. And then you're going to do what? Be looking out. Be watching. All right? Because once you sober, now you know what to look and watch for. All right, when you inebriated and drunk, you can't be vigilant. All right, you can just bumping and falling over everything. All right, but once you sober up, you can be what? Vigilant. You can watch. Why? Because your adversary, the devil, yes, that same one that wants to be like the Most High. Okay, that wants to ascend above the clouds and be like the Most High. That same devil, the so-called white man, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Who will take this chip and I could have their memory put into the cloud, into the server, to be used at a later time for their likeness, their voice, their image, everything. Those that take the beast, those that take the mark of the beast, the RFID microchip, those are the ones that he's going to devour. All right. So you can't say that you weren't warned. We've been blowing the horn and the trumpet ever since. So it's just that you didn't want to take heed. So now guess what? When the lights go off, when it's dark outside, when this system is getting ready to come back online, when they say you got to get plugged into it with the RFID microchip and everything will be stored into the cloud, you can't say that you weren't warned. All right. So you've been warned. Take heed. All right. So we're going to wrap it up with that and pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.